What's up, gente? What's up, Raza? I want to quickly do something today, and it has to do with ICE. ICE are paid basically bounty hunters. They're paid to do what they're doing, and the whole agency, the whole secret police, because that's what they are. As long as they don't have to disclose their face, wear badge numbers, or do anything under the current president's orders that gives them protection, they're a private army funded at $70 billion up until 2029. So even after, let's say, Trump is about to leave office or about to, supposedly about to end his second term as president, they'll still be funded. So we got our job cut out, gente. And the money, just for those who are wondering where it's coming from us, the same people they're rounding up, the same people and their families who they're harassing and even killing under the name of law enforcement are taxpayers. And if you're not one of those families, you don't care, man. This is some money going down the drain. That's for sure, along with violation of the Constitution, as long as this Congress doesn't stand up. But the fact that they're paid, that ICE is a paid bounty hunter program, that should shock a lot of people. It shouldn't be surprised because the history of the United States has been one of slavery built on the backs of slaves, runaway slaves. That's how we started the first police forces here in America, was to protect slave owners, to capture their chattel. That means their runaway slaves, just like a horse or a cow, right? Cops are no different. So in this case, though, we got a super cop, an Uber cop, or something Hitler would call an Uberman, right? Meaning that they're funded, they're basically got the vest, they got the gear, they got the law on their side. That is the worst part. Now, something people don't know is that these bounty hunters not just get bonuses, they get all these relief, financial relief that you and I don't get. If you got a student loan, for example, a bonus, a signing bonus, so they get bonuses for working for ICE. So a lot of young people who signed up, a lot of them especially come from backgrounds where they're struggling financially, their families. Some of them are even first generation raza Chicanos or Latin American from Latin American countries who are now helping to chase down the very people who helped them get here or made it possible for them to be born here in the United States, right? And I say this because they also get paid. Now, there's a law, it's 287G, and that is federal funding that is given to these agents. That is mainly carried out in what we call red states or Republican controlled states. In Texas, for example, when you look at those states, they are getting federal funds to basically go hunt down people because a lot of these agents are also getting paid a bonus for each person that the jail holds. And that's another thing. These jails, prisons, whether it be private or public, it doesn't matter. They get a bonus for holding people in what they call a bed. Each bed, they get paid for. So it's a moneymaker for a lot of these companies. They make money off these prisons. Each bed that is empty, it means they're not making money. And then they trade on Wall Street. They trade stock. So for them, it's a business. For us, it's a horrific, tragic lifestyle where we're having to race from town to town or from place to place to stay safe, or at least our undocumented communities are. And I say we because I've been there. I've had to hide up until I was finally documented officially. And a lot of people know that that's a scary feeling. We talk about the Jews being hunted down by the Nazis, having to hide. A lot of Mexican and Latin American families from Latin American countries, they know this. They know that feeling. And it's not just Mexicanos or Chicanos or people from Latin American countries, people from all over the world. They know this feeling where they have to hide from, the ICE agents, which is very similar to what the Jews had to do with the Nazis. So I bring this to your attention, everybody, just to know where your money's going, why we keep fighting ICE, why we have to keep fighting ICE. ICE must be abolished. And I want to end this today with one thing I want everybody to keep in mind. I mentioned that if Javier Becerra won the nomination in the primary in June, I believe it was June or May, if he won that primary to run against the Republican candidate here in California, we need to hold him accountable. And that's something that I know he didn't make money off. For example, the billionaire that ran Steyer, he made billions off of that. But Javier Becerra, if he wins the governorship or if he wants to be governor, he needs to make sure, we need to make sure that he's on record as not supporting these prisons. I know he's already on record, but we need to reaffirm it, reiterate it, because they'll talk. These are politicians. They're masterful with their language, with their actions, and they, what they say is one thing, but what they do is another. So we need to hold him accountable. Remember, I mentioned that if he won, we need to hold him accountable as well. And we need to make sure that he is not in any way playing into the hands of whether it be ICE, DHS, or whether it be any law enforcement agency that's going to lock up our people, especially under this new funding. Because a lot of these governors, they'll take this money as a way to stabilize their economy, to improve their economy. And they, they use these pretty words. We can't have that. Not even from, especially I should say, from a left wing Democrat, or some people will say actually a moderate Democrat. He's not even left wing. Like, I don't think he's left wing, at least not left enough, because he's yet to come out 100% for healthcare for all. Something that should not be hard. I know he's afraid of being associated with socialists and communism and all that boogeyman talk, right? But the truth is, communism and socialism are great systems that help our people. Our indigenous people were socialists and communists long before Karl Marx and all these other Europeans came around. Those are universal basic ideas. And keeping our people safe is not even socialist at all, or capitalist. Matter of fact, it's less capitalist, because capitalists don't keep the people. They make money off people being dead. The only ones they keep safe under capitalism, the only people that stay safe are the wealthy 1%, the Elon Musk of billionaires and millionaires who depend on the cops, a working class profession that supposedly is a working class profession. They are, but they are used as the line to protect the rich. Javier Becerra cannot fall for that. And if he cannot stand behind the people in the community against not just ICE, but also the funding, and not just police officers, for example, against police officers, especially the brutality they're inflicting, then we got to hold him accountable. He could probably get away with the police officer argument easily, because people, especially elderly people, they want that. Families want that. And matter of fact, I'm for the record, I'm not saying that's good, because I've seen societies where their police officers don't hunt people down, don't chase people down with guns. To them, that's a foreign concept. I know he won the primary just a couple weeks ago, but it's time to start holding him accountable, putting him on record, making sure that he doesn't tippy toe or tap dance around these issues. And that includes ICE, who is currently getting paid. These agents are getting bounty bonuses. These jails and prisons, whether private or public, are getting bonuses for each bed and paid for others. So let's make sure that he's on record and that he's 100% against ICE. And if he can't take a position, then we need to also start holding him, his feet to the fire. With that, I'm out today. I just want to let people know this war against ICE is not over. We may have to defend ourselves, like what we say here, by any means necessary. Yes, that includes the vote, but it also includes arming ourselves. And I'll go into a little bit of that later on, because I know there's been questions asked to me of some recent activity people are worried about. But with that said, I'll talk to everybody later, and be strong out there. Que viva la raza. Oh.